Have you ever wondered how much time is truly wasted in a typical workday? For decades, really, the answer was just a rough guess. But what if we could know, with almost pinpoint accuracy, every single second of inefficiency? Welcome to Bodhi Unified Flow, where we simplify complexity and amplify performance. Today, we're diving deep into the huge shift from old-school clipboards to AI-powered cameras, a revolution that's changing how we measure and, more importantly, improve our work. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the classic idea of work sampling. Then we'll look at, why it started to fall short. After that, we'll get into the exciting stuff, the automated revolution, and compare the old way with the new. We'll look at the real-world impact and then wrap it all up with the key takeaways for you. And by the time we're done here, you'll have a really solid grasp of this major shift in industrial engineering, why it's happening, what's driving it, and what it really means for the future of work. Okay, let's dive right in. Before we can really appreciate this revolution, we first have to understand the original idea, the foundation that has actually served industries really well for almost a century. So what is work sampling at its heart? Well, it's basically a statistical shortcut. Imagine you're trying to figure out how a team spends its day. You could watch them for 8 straight hours, timing every single thing they do, but that's incredibly time-consuming. Or you could use work sampling. This technique basically says that if you take enough random, split-second observations, you can get a really accurate picture of the whole. It's kind of like taking a few random sips of a big smoothie to know what the whole thing tastes like, instead of having to drink the entire blender. And this technique isn't some new fad. It has a pretty rich history. It was pioneered way back in the 1930s by a fellow named L.H.C. Tippett in the British textile industry. He called it the snap reading method. From there, people realized how powerful it was, and it just spread everywhere, manufacturing, logging, you name it. By the late 20th century, it was a crucial tool for understanding these huge, complex projects, especially in fields like construction, helping managers see where their time and money were really going. But as brilliant as it was for its time, the traditional method, and I mean literally, a person with a clipboard and a stopwatch, it started to show some pretty serious cracks, especially as our work environments got more and more complex. This quote right here just hits the nail on the head. I mean, think about a modern warehouse today. You've got thousands of products, robots zipping around, people working together. It's like a complex dance. A clipboard and a stopwatch just can't keep up. It's kind of like trying to photograph a Formula One race with an old-school pinhole camera. You're just going to miss most of the action. So these limitations, they don't just mess with the accuracy a little bit. They make the whole process super expensive, slow, and honestly, pretty biased. First, the high cost. You're paying people just to watch other people work. Then you've got the famous Hawthorne effect. The second people know you're watching them, they act differently, and boom, your data is compromised. On top of that, you have simple human error. People get tired, they make mistakes, and the sample size is tiny by today's standards. But maybe the biggest problem? The data is always looking backward. You find out about an issue days or weeks later when it's way too late to do anything about it. So, with all these problems piling up, the stage was set for a major change. And that change arrived in the form of Industry 4.0 technologies. Okay, this is where things get really, really exciting. Now, this isn't just an upgrade. It's a complete paradigm shift. We're literally going from taking a few blurry snapshots of our operations to having a continuous, high-definition movie of the whole thing. The clipboard is being replaced by what you could call a digital nervous system. So how does all this tech work together? Well, think of it like a team of super observers. First, you have computer vision. That's the eyes. It's AI that can watch a video feed and understand, okay, that person is working or that machine is idle. Then you've got IoT sensors and wearables. Those are the nerves, constantly sending back data. Now for privacy, and this is key, edge computing acts like a local brain. It processes the data right there on the camera and only sends out anonymous updates like worker status active. And the glue that holds it all together? Super fast 5G networks, making sure it all happens in real time. So what does this huge technological leap actually look like in practice? The difference really isn't just a small step up. It's a whole new world. Let's put the old and the new right next to each other. And this table just lays it out perfectly. I mean, look at the sample size. We're going from a few hundred observations to potentially millions of data points every single day. The data goes from being messy and prone to human error to being standardized and perfectly repeatable. That observer bias, the Hawthorne effect, it pretty much vanishes because cameras and sensors just become part of the background. And the analysis, it's not some poor soul stuck with a spreadsheet anymore. It's AI-driven, automated, and gives you insights right now. This is what makes the new way so incredibly powerful. Okay, theory is one thing, but results are what really count, right? So let's look at a real-world example to see the kind of impact this can actually have on a business. So there's this company, we'll just call them ABC Corp, and they were dealing with some big inefficiencies. By bringing in an automated work sampling system, they discovered something pretty startling. Only 60% of their team's time was actually spent on tasks that added value. A huge 40% was just gone, eaten up by delays, and get this, a full 15% spent in unnecessary meetings. This was a massive blind spot they never even knew they had. So armed with this super precise data, management could finally take targeted action. They streamlined their workflows to cut down on delays, they totally rethought their meeting culture. And the result? A 20% jump in overall productivity in just 6 months. That's not just a number on a page, that's faster delivery times and millions of dollars saved. That is the power of making the invisible visible. So this technology is clearly a game changer. But, like with any powerful tool, it's really important that we understand both its incredible potential and its limits as we look to the future. We have to remember this. Even with all this amazing technology, we're still talking about a very advanced form of estimation. The quality of what you get out is completely dependent on the quality of what you put in. If the AI models aren't trained right, or if your definitions of working versus idle are fuzzy, your results are going to be flawed. It's that classic saying, quality in, quality out. And this brings us to a really critical and frankly unavoidable question. As we move towards this world of continuous monitoring, how do we balance these amazing efficiency gains with things like worker privacy and trust? This isn't just a tech problem, it's a leadership challenge. The best way forward is to be transparent, to focus on improving the process, not policing people, and to have crystal clear privacy policies. It's about using this tech to empower your teams, not to micromanage them. And that's a conversation that has to happen everywhere. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From 1930s textile mills all the way to the AI-powered factories of tomorrow. So let's just boil it all down to the essential points you should walk away with. So today, we've really seen the complete evolution of work sampling. We started with its clever origins as a statistical method. Then we pinpointed the real-world limits that made the manual way tough for modern workplaces. We explored how Industry 4.0 tech is building a whole new system, giving us data at a scale and speed we've never seen before. And finally, we acknowledged that with all this power comes a big responsibility to be balanced and ethical. So we have now hit all the learning objectives we set out to at the very beginning. And this is the final thought I really want to leave you with. This whole technological shift, it's about so much more than just measurement. It's about perception. It's about getting a fundamentally new understanding of our own work. So the real question for you to think about is, how will your organization use this new vision to improve, to innovate, and to perform? For those of you who want to dive even deeper, these are the key sources that informed our explainer today. Thank you so much for joining us at Bodhi Unified Flow. We hope this has helped simplify some complexity for you and maybe even inspired you to think about how you can amplify performance.